Whether you know about Jesus or not, you belong to me. And I embrace you with a love that is the same love with which I embrace my only Son, Jesus. And he says, when I am lifted up in the cross and lifted up in the resurrection, I will draw all people into myself. And therefore, if you look at the cross, and if you look at the resurrection, you see humanity there. Yes, it's Jesus, but it's Jesus who has lifted you and me and all people into himself. And one of the great tragedies of the Christian history is that Jesus has often used to exclude people. And it's not easy for us to constantly say to our brothers and sisters, you belong to that covenant, because it's a covenant with all of humanity. The Jesus of the gospel is the Jesus who calls all people into unity. Father, may they be one as you and I are one. And may all people from all races and all ages be one, belong to that same human community. May they all be the beloved sons and daughters of God and brothers and sisters for each other. That is the core of the new covenant, that we all belong together, and that any division and any separation and any segregation and any exclusion is not in the spirit of the one who died on the cross and who sent us his spirit and said, my spirit will blow wherever it wants. And I want you to, this afternoon, to claim that you belong to the Lord who wants to include everyone. And I want to tell you that for me, that has been a whole journey and a very painful journey. Because I was born and raised as a Roman Catholic in Holland, in a time that Catholics were clearly not Protestants, and that Christians were clearly not Buddhists or Hindus. I was raised in that very safe garden with very clear boundaries. I am Catholic and not Protestant. I'm Christian and not Buddhist. I am a believer and not an unbeliever. And so somewhere my world, safe as it was, had all these fences around it that made me very clear that I was not like the rest, like the others. And it's practically been a lifetime job to break down these boundaries, because it feels safe to say, I am me and not you. I am here and not there. I am this and I'm not that. And as I was growing, I suddenly realized that the fences of my safe little garden were breaking down all over the place. That my Protestant brothers and sisters were in many places calling me to Christ even more fully than members of my own religious community. That people of other faiths were sometimes calling me to pray in ways that my own Christian brothers and sisters couldn't. And that people who are not believing and who in no way knew about Jesus were loving and caring in ways that was even far beyond my own imagination. And as I was growing older, I suddenly realized that none of the boundaries were boundaries that Jesus wanted me to live with. And it was as if I was stripped from him and was left with no one but Jesus alone. I'm a priest, but I discover you are too. I'm that God, I discover that others do too in different ways. The people that were most marginal in the society and that I had never even paid any attention to were the ones who had never read the Bible, who had never discussed any theology, who had never explored any mystery with their minds, were calling me to the heart of God. And that people who couldn't speak, or who couldn't walk, or who couldn't even express themselves in any articulate way, were revealing to me that I was loved before I was even born, that I was held safe from all eternity, and that I didn't have to go around proving myself. And every time again I discover that people who I consider to be other, different, over there, strangers, not belonging to my circle, were the people who brought me back to the center of God's heart. Blessed are the poor, Jesus said. And suddenly I realized that there are so many people who in my perspective were poor, but who were rich with the blessing and brought the blessing to me to bring me closer to that incredible mystery that God loves me and loves you and loves all people with the same unconditional love. And dear friends, I just want to simply say that that is something for us to live. To live the truth that all people in this human family are your brothers and sisters. And that all people in this human family are loved by God with the same unconditional love as Jesus was loved by God. That Jesus came to reveal to us what it means to be safe in God's embrace. That Jesus came to say, I am the beloved Son of God, and I come to you so that you can claim for yourself that you are God's beloved children, that you are God's beloved sons, that you are God's beloved daughters. And that's the truth of who you are. Whether you know about Jesus or not, whether you are in prison or free, whether you're a prostitute or whether you are a queen, whether you are this or that, you belong to me. And I embrace you with a love that is the same love with which I embrace my only Son, Jesus.